So let's check this out. Feminism on Trial. This is by Modern Day Debate. And you have RFH versus Rachel Wilson. Shortest podcast or shortest debate ever. Let's see what happened.
Hey everybody, tonight we're debating feminism on trial, and we are starting right now with RFH's opening statement. RFH, the floor is all yours.
Okay, so right straight out of the gate, um, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I did see something on X about this. You can see this person, the pro-feminist person, does not have their camera on, right? She's going to lose anyway. Who cares if she's camera or not? So they've been discussing this in the comments. Scared to cry on camera, cam up or take the L. For real, man. Right? You have to cam up to ensure that you're not cheating or anything like this. Let's see what happens.
Hi, yes, I guess I'm here to debate Rachel about feminism, because that's her favorite thing ever, is to demand people debate her. She's very combative and masculine personality who enjoys this. Nothing.
So straight out of the gate, RFH is already coming in with fallacies that ad hominem attacks. Ad hominem attacks is like when you're attacking your opponent. You know, this could be either their personality, their traits, etc. And whether it be true or false, that's not a way to open up a debate, man. So straight out of the gate, the pro-feminist person is losing, right? That's not how you. Feminism is on trial. We're not here to discuss Rachel Wilson's character. She's not on the stand. She is not on trial. In this case, feminism is. So that's what we need to address, right? What a way to open up the debate, RFH.
Wrong with that. But yeah, I think I think this whole debate is going to be pretty interesting, because Rachel is probably one of the biggest benefactors of feminism in many ways. I mean, she's here tonight debating someone, and her job is to basically debate people online and to be a podcaster, something that would have never been available.
I'm assuming that James Coons, the host, is reading the comments and he's like, "Yeah, man, she's probably cheating, man. She's probably cheating, man." Look at his face. He's like trying to. It looks like he's trying to like determine, like, is she cheating? Is that why she doesn't have the camera on? What's going on here, man? So yeah, look at this guy. Look at this person. Oof, L start for real, for real. And now she's making the claims that Rachel Wilson has been a benefactor of feminism. So
Available to her without it. And in fact, you know, Rachel is also divorced like myself and had children in their first marriage, and it didn't work out. And thank God.
what does that have to do with anything, man? Like, people get divorced, right? Men get divorced, women get divorced. How does I think she's about to say thank God for feminism.
She had feminism because she was actually.
Let's go back and make sure that we hear that correctly.
I mean, she's here tonight debating someone, and her job is to basically debate people online and to be a podcaster, something that would have never been available to her without it. And in fact, you know, Rachel is also divorced like myself, and
So, because of feminism, she's able to debate online and stuff like this. So, without it, before feminism, right, women did not have a voice. They were not allowed to say anything. Is this the case? Is this the claims that we're making? You know, what assertions or where are these facts coming from? Right, provide evidence. Right, 'cause I don't think that is the case at all, man. Actually, women did have a voice in a lot of things before, including in the Bible, right? Which she mentions God, so I'm assuming she believes. Although she did require witnesses, or people require witnesses, right? You know, for any particular claim, it's just like anything else, right? So that's crazy.
had children in their first marriage, and it didn't work out. And thank God she had feminism, because she was actually able to work and then support her child and not starve. So thank God she had that option.
So women, if they didn't have feminism, they weren't able to work and support their children, right? What about like back in the day before feminism was a thing, right? Where let's say the husband, for whatever reason, got unalived. What about that? How was she supposed to raise her children then, right? That's just dumb. That's a very, very dumb claim. My grandmother's mother on my dad's side, right? My paternal grandmother's mother, or my great grandmother, right, if you will. She, by the time she was 12, had her first kid, and she had something like 9 children, uh, total. I want to say it was 9 or 12. I'm not too sure, but my grandma on both sides, they had a lot of siblings. That was the way it was back then, right? Not a family of means. And the person that she had, my great grandfather, um, these kids with, and she eventually married, right, did not work, right? So they waited until the kids were older, and they were the ones that were put to work, right? And they were the ones that were bringing in, you know, monies, right, from a very young age, right? Coming from the Hispanic community, this is very, very common, right, in the Latin community, or was back then. You would see this a lot, um, and they would bring in the dough. She would make clothing by hand. She would make their undergarments, their shirts, their pants, whatever they needed to wear. She would make food. It was literally, plucking the chicken's feathers, all of that stuff. How to skin animals and stuff like this. So, where there's a will, there's a way. Not because of feminism, right? Not because feminism allowed that. It's because it's your job to do that, right? It's your job. You have kids. It's not about you anymore. That's your job. But according to RFH here, cheater not being on camera, right? It's because of feminism, and thank God for that, right? And for sure, we want to thank God for a lot of things, right? But maybe not for feminism, right? Feminism is not a godly thing. Let's see where this goes.
Rachel is a great benefactor of feminism, and it's really worked out well in her favor. So I argue that Rachel is already a feminist. She already lives as a feminist does. And
So here we see James addressing, all of this. RFH has refused to use her camera or would not come on, right? When I was in school, getting my bachelor's degree, some of the classes required us to take exams, right? Oh, essentially, all of them did. Some of the classes I would take either hybrid, through the CV era. That's how I'll say that, just to not get in trouble here. The jab area, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where everybody had to wear a face diaper. Around that time, everything went online, and so we had to hop on camera, right? Not only that, the camera had to be in a position where you could see us and you could see our hands, right? To make sure that we're not Googling anything with the phone, right? Because off of here, right, off of this frame, I can easily, on my cell phone, just start typing, etc., right? So there was that, for academic integrity is what they called it. And apparently, they would warn us and tell us that there was such features on the devices we were using, right? These lockdown browsers, whatever they were, that they could tell, like, your eye movement, if something was off, right? After you would get a warning first. It never happened to me, right? Because I was honest, right? You have to be honest. The last thing you want to do is get kicked out, right? For something dumb. Just don't do it, right? Here, this is a joke, bro. And it looks like Rachel, right? She's like writing down, the ad hominem attacks, right? The red herrings, going to places that have nothing to do with anything, We're talking about feminism on trial, right? That's the discussion, right? Feminism on trial. Is it good or is it bad? What are its pros and cons? Who has benefited from this? Who didn't? That's how I would have started if I was, debating this thing, right? Surely, just like anything else, it has its pros and cons. Maybe in this case, the pros are women are given the equal rights, right? They're given equal rights, but not equal responsibilities, right? Maybe that's one of the cons, right? Maybe that's something, right? But if you're, on the pro side of things, right, you don't want to say the bad stuff, right? So this is just stupid, bro. This whole thing is dumb. Look at the comments, bro. RHF has already lost. These are, the live comments. Coward, coward, coward. That was utterly nonsense. Victory before it even started. Thanks, RFH. This is just stupid, bro. This is just dumb.
It's just funny to me that I guess there's a tendency for people to do this. They don't understand the privileges that they have and have been granted to them, and they don't understand the lives of the people who lived before them. They imagine a Disney World view of what patriarchy looked like, of what women's lives looked like, and
The patriarchy view and how people lived back then. There's she mentioned God, so I'm assuming she believes, right? She already, by thanking God, right, that there's these things, she's already submitting to authority, in this case, a patriarchal figure, right? So she already, in her own, like, I don't think she's aware of what she's, and it's the problem with a lot of these people. They don't know what they're saying. There's admitting to that simply by thanking God, right? So you already appeal to authority, right? In this case, a patriarchal authority that you have, supposedly according to you, that you have these kind of things or privileges. This is what maybe they should be called, not rights. These are privileges, right? It's a privilege to be able to work. It's a privilege, right, to be able to vote. It's not a freedom, it's a privilege, right? That's a whole separate issue, but coming back to this, right? This girl here, or whatever this is, because we don't know what this is, who's speaking, right? For all we know, it could be AI, right? AI is very convincing these days, folks. For all we know, it's like AI, and maybe they put like the intelligence level, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the dumbest, right? Maybe they put their level 3, level 3 debate, right? Address these issues and attack Rachel Wilson on her character and traits and stuff, and refuse to go on camera, right, so that nobody sees that we're using a level 3 AI. This is pathetic, man.
yeah, they don't know what they have, even though that they're living in it right now, even though they're benefiting from it right now at this very moment. So I think it'll be yeah.
So even the Declaration of Independence, I think there's like a clause or something that, not a clause, but like some kind of statement that says, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Happiness was never a guarantee. The pursuit of it is, right? So everybody, we believe that all men are created equal under God. Men in that phrase is not used like as a gender assignment, but mankind in general, right? Believe that all men are created equal under God, right? And have unalienable rights, pursuit of happiness, etc. You have the right to do whatever you want, right? There's verses about this in the Bible too, right? Thank God RFH has appealed to authority, and a patriarchal authority, and she also is a believer. Thank God for that, because she also would have known that there's a verses, I believe in the book of Corinthians, that says, I can do whatever I want, but not everything is beneficial. I have the power to do, whatever I want to do, but not everything is helpful. Something like this. There's a Bible verse about this. So you can do whatever you want, man, right? This has been since the beginning of time, right? I want to say, before all of this, right? The great conquering of the West and stuff. There's a particular case to be made that the expansion of America, right, during its founding, right, would not have been possible if, as westward expansion continued without brothels, right? Without brothels, right? I want to say, that women in brothels back in the day had a big role in order to keep the spirits of man upright, and keep going west and stuff. Eventually, they outlawed this, right? It's not legal or whatever, but yeah, man, this thing here is just dumb, bro. It's just dumb. You have figures in the Bible, right? Nobody was treated like I said, but maybe your partner did, right? You were maybe a partner treated somebody like garbage or whatever. It happens, unfortunately, right? But feminism is a disease, and you can see the brain rot. You can see the brain rot, right? Nothing that this person here has said or anything. I feel like that guy from the movie Billy Madison, right? The people are now dumber for having listened to this garbage, right? This is just dumb, and she won't come on camera. That's the other thing. So
Interesting to talk to Rachel about this is really we're just two feminists talking, debating each other about feminism. Rachel just doesn't know it yet.
With that, we'll kick it over to Rachel for her opening as well. The floor is all yours, Rachel.
Well, this is a disappointment. First of all, Radfem Hitler over here didn't cam up, didn't tell James or I that she was going to refuse to cam up, which is
Never on camera.
That's my opening. I didn't interrupt.
yeah, so now she's interrupting Rachel in her opening. Now, notice how Rachel is stating facts, right? Rachel's coming out of the gate, stating facts. This is disappointing. I'm assuming there was a delay because of this, so everybody was late.
Interrupt your opening. Didn't say she was going to do that, sprung it on us at the last minute, so James just went for it anyway, which is fine. She said that she'd watched my Joe Rogan episode. Can't possibly be true because her whole opening was addressed in the podcast episode. This absurd accusation that I am a feminist benefiting from feminism because I can write books or do podcasts or do debates is silly. I explained on the Joe Rogan podcast.
So Rachel now, she's answering back the ad hominem attacks with facts. She's answering back, right? Instead of feminism being on trial, RFH, no camera coward, decided to ad hominem fallacy. Decided to go that approach in her opening. So Rachel, in her opening, is starting to address and answer the accusations that were being made, right? The attacks that were coming, right? Because what you'll see is that when a person has nothing to stand on, right, no foundation, right, to debate, they'll go to attack, right? They'll go to ad hominem attack. That'll be the resort. When you open the debate like that, you already lost. You already lost. By default, you lost. This should have been over. This should have never have happened. But it's good that it did, because we can see here, right? This debate was over when this person, RFH, coward, did not appear on camera, right? So
that anti-suffragists and suffragists were doing public debates in the middle 1800s. It was never illegal for women to speak publicly. They were never banned from doing so. Mary Wollstonecraft was supporting herself as a single mother, an unmarried single mother, with her writing and her speaking in the 1700s. So this, largely what my book is about and what the Joe Rogan podcast was about was debunking these feminist lies and the false framing that they use. She said, I'm the one who doesn't understand what life was like under the patriarchy. I'm the one that wrote a whole book on it, which, by the way, is now in the top 30 on Amazon in books in general right now. So thank you to everybody who watched the episode and went out and bought the book. You guys are awesome. But yeah, the whole book is about debunking this fake lies and propaganda spread by feminists like RFH, which, she wanted to talk about me being...
Like, it's a shame that we can't see, like, the camera, but I'm assuming that at this point she's sweating. She's nervous, this person here. probably, you know, has that lip trembling, hands are shaking, right? Because Rachel is coming out with guns, bro. Rachel's coming out with guns, bro. Damn. But this person here, right? What you notice is like if she doesn't interrupt again, um, they just have to attack character, right? Oh well, you're divorced. Oh well, this. Oh well, that. Right.
Divorced, the reason that that happened was not because of anything I did. I didn't pick up and
Say it
leave.
was.
All right, hold on.
No.
Wow. She fucking interrupted again, bro. What? Look at James, bro. Look at James, bro. Bro, James had enough, bro. James like, all right, man, get the fuck out of here, man. That's what he's gonna say. He's gonna be like, turn the camera on or get the fuck out of here, man. You fucking idiot, right? Why this is even being a question here is beyond me, bro. Is beyond me. This is crazy.
RFH. All right, you've interrupted twice during Rachel's opening. You refuse to use your camera. Turn on your camera so we know that you're not cheating. You've already interrupted
I'm
twice.
not.
Exactly. So we know that you're not cheating, right? So we know that you're not cheating, right? Oh, you're a feminist, right? According to you, you have rights and privileges, and this is like obligate. Everybody should just kneel to you, right? Men should just kneel, right? And all these things and your propaganda bullshit, right? I'm assuming that you know you were finally allowed to go to a library, right, to do research, right, in order to come out and tackle this particular question here at this debate. Instead, what we decided to do was just attack Rachel Wilson's character, traits, personality, etc. Right? No moral standing to stand on, nothing, no foundation, right, in regards to the claim. It's easier to just go Google things. How do I debate this? So you can see that that's what's happening here, bro. This is just dumb. This is dumb, bro. There's no like if this was a university, right? This would never have been allowed, ever.
Cheating, and you're not gonna
Listen, hold on.
longhouse me into
Listen.
doing whatever.
Turn on your
If you
camera.
don't
Yeah, so she's like, you're not gonna longhouse me because you're a man, and you're not gonna tell me what to do because you're a man, right? This is just dumb, bro. Just turn on the fucking camera, right? If you got nothing to hide, just turn the fucking camera on, right? What a pathetic loser, bro.
want to have this,
Listen,
no.
you've already
If
interrupted
you don't want to have this
twice.
debate,
Listen,
I don't.
you've already interrupted twice, and you won't turn on your camera. This debate is over unless you turn on your camera.
Yeah, man.
Then I guess it's over. I'm not turning it on. I've already explained this. I'm very pregnant right now. I don't want to invite
I'm very pregnant. She's good. She about to start crying, bro. I'm very pregnant right now.
the world in on my life in that way.
This was a cheap ploy.
Man, fucking pathetic, bro. Don't ever bother coming out. Whoever this person is, don't ever bother, with stuff like this, man. Just stay home. Just stay. How about that? This is embarrassing, bro. Just stay home. Just cook meals. Stay in the kitchen. That's where you belong, man. You belong at home, bro.
To get out of debating me. She
It's
didn't want
not
to
a cheap
debate me.
ploy. I'm never
Listen,
on.
She has no idea what she's talking about. I'm far better at this. I'm
No,
way
you're
more
not,
informed.
Rachel. You don't even understand basic
All right,
fucking
listen,
economics.
Hold on. I've already.
You don't even understand basic fucking economics. What does that have to do with feminism on trial, bro? This is just pathetic, man. This is sad, honestly. I'm embarrassed for this person. This is just man. Yeah, just stay home, man. This is why it would be better, because then you come out here and you become an embarrassment.
Already explained. This is basic. I've already explained. Turn your camera on. You've already interrupted Rachel twice, so we already know you're cheating in that way. If you're going,
I'm cheating because
I'm cheating. What? No way, bro. I'm cheating because, and then look at him. She just admitted to that. I'm cheating because I'm assuming she was gonna say because I'm pregnant, right? Well, just stay home, man. Right? Just stay home. You know? What a dumbass, bro.
All right, I'm just going to keep you muted because now you're admitting to cheating. If you're not going to have your camera
Dude, can
on,
you
so we know you're
hear?
not cheating, then this is done.
I'm not cheating because I said I never said that.
You just
How
said you were
did I need the
cheating
internet?
because
She just said that. She just said I'm cheating because, and she was gonna explain why she's cheating. No way, bro.
No,
blah
I
blah blah blah
didn't.
blah.
Look at James, bro. He's like rolling his eyes, like, yeah, you know,
Nice.
feminist.
So we already know you're
retard.
cheating in that way. If you're going
I'm
to
cheating
cheat,
because
all
Yeah.
right, I'm just gonna keep you muted because
Yeah, they don't. And that's the problem, bro. Is like when they're under pressure, like, you know, feminists or women in general, when they're under pressure, they don't know what the fuck they're saying. They can't keep their emotions. It's like a bottle of soda that's shaken up but has a bunch of pores, right? And it's like it'll only come out like the soda if there's like, you know, pressure. It cannot be contained. It just start leaking everywhere, right? And just start, you know, coming down and crying and blaming, and, you know, she'll probably accuse the host of being a misogynist and a sexist and a racist, you know, or whatever, bro. They'll resort to that, right? This whole thing is sad. It's pathetic. She already admitted to cheating. This is crazy, man.
now you're admitting to cheating. If you're not going to have your camera
dude, can
on,
you
so we know you're
hear?
not cheating, then this is done.
I'm not cheating because I said I never said that.
You just
How
said you were
did I need the
cheating
internet?
because
No,
blah
I
blah blah
didn't.
blah blah.
Can you fucking hear? Can either
Listen,
of you
the
hear?
camera. Listen, if you're turn
Dude,
on your
this is
camera, or
insane.
I'm booting you.
Then boot me. I'm not doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Man, that's crazy, bro. Let's see. So he brings Rachel back on.
wasn't going to use her camera, so I'm just gonna. I think
So
we're gonna wrap up. We're not gonna actually
Yeah.
have this debate. I'm gonna welcome Rachel back on because I am sorry about that, Rachel. Rachel, sorry for booting you as well. That was just like
That's okay.
You can find Rachel's link in the description box below. And sorry, folks, we were hoping for an actual debate, but like I said, it is becoming an.
There's no debate to be had because, you know, feminism is the worst thing ever. That's the problem. Is that there's nothing to this is like saying, like, you know, let's debate slavery, right? You know, well, slavery's bad, right? And that's it. That's all. It doesn't need to be addressed. It doesn't need to come on here. It's over, right? It's done. Let's debate child workers, right? You know, in some of these other countries, it's bad, right? That's it. You know, this is easy. Feminism, it's the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing ever, right? It's dumb. And thank God we have a person like Rachel Wilson who has knowledge on this. And through experience as well, personal experience of what this does, you know, and what it does to people and relationships and stuff like this, where you, for whatever reason, you know, those people believe that everything is owed to them, but the work it takes to get there does not apply to them, or the responsibilities that come with that, right? What woman wants to spend days on the floor of a Tesla factory to make sure that, you know, Tesla eventually becomes what it is today, right? And I'm talking about Elon Musk here, right? None of them would do that, right? A man is successful in the workplace because he sacrifices at the workplace, right? He makes sacrifices there in order to bring bread to the table. That's the only way that can happen, right? That's the And there's a lot of pride there's pride in. I love working, man. It's the best thing ever, right? I'm rewarded, right, for my work. I'm praised for my work, my ability, my skill, right? There's sacrifices that are being made, right? Overtime hours, etc., right? Taking on more responsibilities, right? In the workplaces, you can handle it. You know that you can. But women, bro, I've seen women in positions of like managers, especially under the DEI thing, right? When all of that was happening, there's people in supervisory roles that should not be there. Women that should not be there at all. The ideas are just stupid and dumb, and it's just like, well, this company is gonna go down because of you, right? And then eventually they have to cut everybody's hours, right? It's just dumb ideas for the most part, right? So this was crazy, man.
An issue where if people are going to potentially tell ChatGPT like, "Hey, debate with me. I'm gonna, and then they just
Yeah, I'm
type in
assuming that's what that person did. They were relying on Google and ChatGPT or whatever AI is being used because they're stupid, man. Because they don't have, you don't understand basic fucking economics. What does that have to do with what's being discussed here, man? And that's what they do in the workplace too. Especially when you start attacking them like on facts in the workplace. Okay, so you're getting after me because I'm coming in late. Well, what about you? Right? And you take that to HR and you're like, what about this person, right? They're coming in late every day. Oh, well, I have to take my children to school, and then, and then you're the one that's getting in trouble, right? Because you're bringing up the facts, and then they start breaking down. They start crying in front of the HR representative, right? And they're like, I'm under so much pressure, and I have to be, right? They just start with they cannot, under pressure, they cannot function. They can't, right? And that's the problem is that you cannot be in those kind of positions, right? Because you don't know how to act when the pressure comes, right? Now, I'm not saying all women, right? There's some women that they've been from childhood, right? They've been trained to one day you're gonna step up, right? There's been queens in roles and stuff like this. That's not a feminism thing, right? That's coming into a position, right? You've been trained for it all your life. You came to it. But feminism is just retarded, bro.
in whatever Rachel says and just do that is like we're not gonna. I just feel like it's not a
Yeah.
genuine debate. We want people to defend their actual beliefs.
I don't think this is not surprising to me. I told Andrew, I said, I highly doubt she's going to really do this because she wasn't answering to either of us on social media. And that she just kind of said, yeah. And, you're giving her the prompt, you're asking her questions, and she's just kind of like phoning it and going, yep, yep, yep. So I think she showed up not on cam on purpose, was as combative as possible on purpose to get out of this because everybody online was saying, you can't back out now. You said you would do it. You said you would. And so I think that was her cheap way of getting out of having to do an actual debate, because even her pathetic opening are all criticisms that I addressed right on the Rogan podcast and have addressed multiple other times. So if she wants to cam up and come back, she's saying it's an invasion of privacy. It's like, how is showing yourself from here up? You don't have to show us your pregnant belly. You don't have to show us your house. Even, some of my other opponents who maybe are not beauty models or something were like totally willing to come on and cam up. There's no.
I don't know if y'all remember seeing the Jordan Peterson, and I hope that guy comes back, man. He's been away for too long, but he addressed feminism like with some news reporter or caster or whatever the fuck in some like interview or something, and he went after her hard. He's like, because it's all about equality, right? And he's like saying like, maybe we should make bricklayers, right, equal, right? Maybe we should make like, these dangerous jobs, right? Electricians, etc. No, you don't want to be equal in the prison. He even said prison, right? Maybe we should make the population of prison right equal, right? There should be the same men and women should also be. And that other person just completely melted down, right? But he was making a good point, bro, because it's like it's not about equality. It's you want to be given the best out of the gate, right, without having to work for anything. And there are some companies, right, that are really stupid and they do that, and then everybody suffers because of that, because you put somebody there that's just dumb, that doesn't belong there, right? Just because of looks or whatever, DEI. But yeah, man, this whole thing was just dumb. She should have just came on camera, right? Should have addressed the topic, and should not have interrupted. Shut the fuck up. How about that, right? Is that one of the one of the tenets of feminism, right? Know when to speak, right? Is that a thing? I hope that's a thing, right? Know when to shut the fuck up. How's that, right? When the other person is talking, how about you fucking listen instead of interrupting, right? And using and cheating and admitting to that, right? And it would be better for you if you would just shut the fuck up, right? Because you would not have admitted to cheating, right? How about you just shut the fuck up, stay in the kitchen, right? And because that's where you belong. You know what I mean? Under pressure, we saw it here, man. I'm not making things up. Under pressure, she caved and she started saying things and admitting to things. This is crazy.
No reason she can't do that.
You'll see it in school too, bro. I saw it a lot in school when people were getting caught cheating, right? And it was, female, right? Man, the meltdown and admitting to things that were not relevant to what was happening, right? Or being addressed, right? Or, attacking the professor. There was one like that. So somebody just straight up, just on the ground, threw a fit. At a university, this happened. I never saw a male student get caught cheating. I don't think I did. Not in the university where I went to, but in high school, right, in the advanced classes, there was one who had under his shoe, he had written down like some formulas for it was a college algebra 2. It was an advanced class, and the professor, the teacher, caught him, and the guy just straight up he didn't say anything. He's like, "Hey, I caught you," right? The teacher ripped up the test. The guy just got up, and I thought he was gonna hit the teacher, bro. He got up and he just walked away. He just opened the door and left, and he slammed the door. Boom. And we were like, "Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck?" Right? This was a clear win. This was
that even if she's pregnant. So we'll see. I think she's just running.
Oh, have you ever seen a pregnant? Right, I'm pretty sure everybody here has. Right, seen a pregnant. There's a lot of hormones. There's a lot of things and emotions and stuff. And then it's some kind of. I'm not gonna say like some kind of mental case because that's not what it is. But it's like you're going through a lot of things, right? You're going through a lot of things and uncertainties and stuff, and it's understandable, right? I respect that, right? But you can also see that person that is pregnant, right? A woman that is pregnant. I'll say woman, right? Women get pregnant, not men, by the way. A woman who's pregnant, right? She has to like just relax, right? And pray that you have a competent partner before this happens, and that he's gonna be able to take care of right things that you are not at that particular time during this beautiful, wonderful phase of your life can take care of, right? He has to step up the mound for a while, right? Step up the plate, during this time, right? And because it's a partnership, right? You care about your partner, and she's everything to you, and you're everything to him, and he's everything to you too, or whatever, and vice versa. But when you look at like the way I've seen it, the meltdowns that happen, right? Imagine in the workplace, bro. You know, that's just why they take a leave of absence, right? Take a maternity leave, right? Because you know it's gonna be something in your life where you know you have to, you know what I mean? Now those same reactions, right, also happen when they're not pregnant too, and you know, so some women are better emotionally intelligent, and you know some of them are stone cold, bro. Yeah, I've had some female you know teachers or professors at the university who were stone cold, you know, unwielding. Uh, they were, you know, masters of their craft, right? They've studied, right? They got PhD title because they're you know they studied cellular biology, right? And they can explain to you, you know, in detail, you know, the how or the supposed, you know, how things function or whatever, and their particular topics. What's your job, right? That wasn't given, that was earned. PhD is 8 years of schooling, right? You're gonna sacrifice, right? You're coming out of high school. You're about to sacrifice 8 years of your best life to get a PhD. By the time you're done, you're probably 26, 27. And as females get older, the quality of the eggs is becoming less and less, right? You're becoming more and more infertile. You've sacrificed that, you know, the best years of your life where you could have had kids, right? What happens now is the time to look for a partner. Now you're rushing, right? Or maybe you decide I want to work for 4 years, and I, you know, want to make my house or whatever, right? Because that's what society says, right? That's what feminism, or I've been indoctrinated into thinking that feminism taught me this, right? Maybe the mentality is I don't need a man, I can do this myself. Yeah, well, that's great, right? You know, kudos to you, right? That's what you want to do. But then one day you wake up and you're 40 and you're still at the university, right? And you're still teaching. You didn't get married. You didn't have kids. Your friends in your circle, they got married. They have kids. Valentine's Day, you see them right at the workplace. They're getting flowers. You didn't get anything. You don't have kids, right? And the realization starts coming up like, well, I sacrificed all of this, did that. Eventually, you're going to be 60, 70, and you'll just pass alone because that's what you decided to do. Is that life, bro? Is that legacy? What is that? By all means, that's what you want to do. Do it, right? The pursuit of happiness, right? The pursuit. You pursued that. Were you happy at the end? Probably not. There's probably people that are happy doing that. You know, everybody has their own thing, right? Everybody can be their own person, right? Make their own choices. But when you're diluted and indoctrinated that feminism is the way, you find out that it was all a lie, right? That it was a lie, bro. And now you're staring death in the face and you're just like, feminism did this to me, right? Because you were indoctrinated and you believe those things. And probably you were a proponent too, you know, bringing or trying to poison the well other young ladies, right, into the same thing. Well, if I didn't have kids, you ain't gonna have kids either, right? It's just dumb, stupid. You're equal already, right? So what's the problem here? No better blessing or legacy is, right? You come out of high school, sure, you pick up, you know, some technical skill, whatever it is, man. Even if you did the PhD route, but then you went and got married, had kids, right? Kids that call you mom, kids that bring you, colored art that they did in school on Mother's Day. All right, y'all ever did that? Where it was like, the teacher would print out like flowers and like "I love you, mom" on it. You would paint that and bring it to your mom. Grades, right? Look, mom, look how I did, right? Not the supplies, right? Somebody that looks up to you, somebody that depends on you, right, for their survival. Tiny human who is so fragile and frail that without you, they could not make it, right? Now you have responsibilities, right? But no, feminism is a disease.
I've just sent a DM to RFH and I just said, are you willing to use a camera and come back on? Earlier today, so basically, I had asked her, I'm just gonna let me just see what she says here. This is a good opportunity as well. If anybody wants to debate Rachel, please email me at moderndaydebate@gmail.com. It's very difficult, to be honest, to find opponents for the Wilsons. It just drives me crazy that so many people will talk smack and things like this, and then they won't come on and debate.
Yeah, because they can't stand to scrutiny, right? They can't stand inside the fire of truth, man. That's the problem. So instead, it'll be coming out, attacking their character, their personality, their whatever, and not address the topics, right? Just don't say anything at all, man. But it's easy, right? Behind a screen and a keyboard and from home, right? And when your camera's off, it's easy to... You don't understand fucking basic economics. What does that have to do with anything, bro? Oh, you should have been like, oh... You gotta have fun with this stuff, man. Right? You gotta have fun with your opponent, right? If I was rich, I would have been like, oh, I'm wounded. You got me. I don't understand basic fucking economics. Oh, you got me, right? Have you ever seen a mom at the store, bro? Have you ever seen a mom on a budget at the store, bro? Have you ever seen the book of coupons, sir? Have you seen that? Have you seen that? Well, she knows what she's doing, man, right? She knows what she's doing. It's like, if I can save here, I'm going to save here, right? But, oh... You don't understand basic fucking economics. So she said basic, bro. Well, you have $1 and something's worth 50 cents, right? Give your $1 and you get 50 cents back, right? This is easy, What's the question here? This is dumb, man. It's just dumb. RFH lost bad, bro.
So, long story short, folks, if you are up for debating Rachel Wilson,
don't look at me, I'm hideous. Look away. Oh man. Yeah, Andrew has got to be cracking up for real,
email
bro.
me at moderndaydebate@gmail.com. I'll put that moderndaydebate@gmail.com, and I look forward to, hopefully there are some people that are willing to debate Rachel Wilson as well as Andrew Wilson. These people are some of the hardest for me to find an opponent for. People just aren't up for it, which is disappointing because a lot of people are like, they jab on Twitter and then they don't actually want to debate, or if they they're not willing to do it in a way that we can't have better evidence they're not using ChatGPT. So you can find Rachel at the link in the description box, as well as her recent episode on the Joe Rogan Experience. And folks,
this might be a good opportunity for me to throw down the gauntlet to Destiny, because he had a lot to say about my Joe Rogan Experience. Namely, he said, we have to get away from these people, referring to me and as probably Andrew, Or we'll never get back to, we'll never have normalcy again or something like that, inferring that I was somehow the abnormal one and he was the normal one. So I want to ask Destiny formally if he would like to debate me on feminism or on any of the points that I made on the Joe Rogan podcast.
That guy's like unhinged, bro. Destiny. That guy's unhinged, man. He like, I don't know what's going on there, but something's off with that guy.
Because he seemed very upset and didn't like the episode. So if he wants to debate, I am here.
I'll reach out to him and see what we can do. That would be an epic debate. But yeah, I want to say, folks, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to let Rachel go. I'll talk about upcoming debates. But you can find Rachel at the link in the description box. 1 second, I'm going to just check really quick RHF if she logged in.
Nah, she's probably crying on her desk.
RFH now stands for Run for the Hills.
Run for the Hills?
That's her new name, everyone.
So it says that she's typing, but it said that for like a few minutes. So like I don't know if she's actually going to respond. Like it looked like she's
writing you a strongly worded letter, James. She's writing a strongly worded letter to modern day debates.
Yeah.
But yeah, want to say, folks, we are looking for opponents for the Wilsons. Hope you guys, with that, I think we'll wrap up, as I don't think RFH is actually going to respond. It just, oh, here it is. She says, I'm not going on camera. Okay.
Yeah, what a loser, bro. What a loser. But yeah, this was a clear win for Rachel Wilson, RFH. Don't bother ever coming on, you know. Or if you do, right, at least you give people content, right? It's fun to see stuff like this. But, you know, if you want to save yourself the embarrassment, I wouldn't do it, you know. Just stay home, stay in the kitchen where you belong. See y'all in the next one. Peace.